Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Nathan Ivey Show, where nothing is funnier than the truth. Men are allowed to be men, and of course, succumbs get dealt with. Please take a second to like and, in particular, share today's show. When you share the show, more people see it. Good morning to you. Welcome back to your morning destination for interesting conversation. We need to talk about mental health, social media, and how they're related. I've yet to talk about the passing of Regina King's son, who committed suicide shortly after his 26th birthday. But certainly there were some signs that the young brother was dealing with some serious shit. And this is a topic that is top of mind for a lot of people, even locally. I'll tell you about a new project that's happening. It's underway right now that will shine a light on mental health, primarily mental health awareness as relates to Black men. Because as the great author Michael Baisden once wrote, men cry in the dark. Why? Why can't we just be who we are? Why can't we be vulnerable? And how is this related to social media? There has been a decision and a uh, very much covered, well covered court case involving a huge megastar and a I don't know if you want to call her a YouTuber, but let's just say she does a YouTube channel. I'm talking about Tasha K. Y'all might be hip to that court case between her and Cardi B. Well, it is ended, and for people that do that kind of work, it might be something for you to keep your eyes on. But I want to talk about all of this and how it may or may not be interrelated this morning. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, your morning destination for interesting conversation. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Nathan, 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 NathanIvey.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. And far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised dogs, close fish, yeah, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real, jumping like hopscotch. Nobody harder than, oh no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airways, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info about it? Hey, yo, John will be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of grippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 513, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Back. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Great to be alive. Great to be with you as always. It's always a time for celebration, family, when we get together. Great to be alive. Hey, welcome back. Home studio, still doing it. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. I think you can see off my left shoulder, I got the people, some of my loved ones, my mother, grandfather, grandparents up there watching over me as I do what I do. Good morning to you. And welcome back. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Good morning. Please like and share today's show. So I want to talk about mental health, social media, and how they might be intertwined. And there's a sister that's doing a documentary that is focusing on mental health awareness among Black men. And I think it's a great idea because you talk about that superwoman syndrome, which in effect can be detrimental to the lives of Black women, because Black women don't need no help because you're a superwoman, right? And the same thing happens with men in general, in particular Black men. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we end up crying in the dark, because we feel as if we don't have any spaces to be vulnerable. You know, being vulnerable is looked upon as a weakness in the lives of a lot of men, primarily black men, because we're supposed to be warriors and mandingos and all this kind of stuff, right? So there's a new documentary they're going to be shooting in the next couple of weeks. Um, Matter of fact, we talked to her, Ashley Glass. She did a documentary and we're talking about imposter syndrome. And she put together a great group of fantastic sisters based in the greater Cincinnati area. And it was documentary style, one sort of profile after another. It was very interesting. And she's back. And now she's going to be focusing on mental health awareness, the mental health issues, primarily as it deals with black men. And it got me thinking about Regina King's son, 26 years old. Your mom is a movie star, right? It would appear from the outside looking in that you got everything. Look, you're her only child, which means you're getting everything. And he had posted some things over the last few months that seemed very encouraging. And then he posted something about how he felt as if Instagram wasn't a good, it wasn't a say, it wasn't good for his mental health. Instagram wasn't good for his mental health. And then that jogged a memory. And what happened to that? Remember the white woman that blew the whistle on Facebook? Is she still alive? Remember her? Remember her? She blew the whistle on Facebook and Instagram. And as a part of her testimony at Congress, what she said is that, Facebook owns Instagram. She said that they had collected data that suggested that Instagram negatively impacted the psyches, the emotional well-being of teenage girls. And yet Instagram wasn't doing anything about it. I'm not sure what they can do. And I thought about it. I thought, yeah, I can see it. Because Instagram is just like, it's just like a thirst trap. Everybody has a perfect life. Everybody's life is perfect. They live in they got perfect bodies, the perfect job, the perfect house. They got everything. And if you're not well adjusted and comfortable and satisfied and content in who you are, that shit, man, could send you over the edge. Because it's like the ultimate trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with the Kardashians and their perfect lives. That's just one part of it. The other part about it is social media allows people to troll. And trolls can be vicious, man. They can be straight up vicious. Like, people are saying do anything on social media, which takes us to the case of Cardi B and Tasha K. Just yesterday, the courts actually sided with Cardi B in that case. And now a popular blogger, YouTuber named Tasha K. Some of y'all might be hip to her. We've talked about some of her videos. She seems to be very popular. She won a $1 million defamation suit against gossip blogger Tasha K. How many people watch Tasha K? You're hip to Tasha K? I don't watch her, but from time to time, she'll have something that hits my radar screen, like she'll go viral with an interview or something she takes. And the court sided with her. 1.25 million. It could go higher than that, actually, but that's where it is right now. And I went to Tasha K's Instagram page this morning. She got about 300,000 followers, and she said, "Hey, this is part of business, and hey, we'll be back on. We'll be doing the show this Friday, which I'm sure is going to be hot, right?" And I'm like, "This is a part of the business." And what exactly did Tasha K do? Cardi B testified in open court that because of some of the things that Tasha K was saying and posting about her, that she felt suicidal. This is Cardi B. Now, I don't know if she was flopping. You know what I'm saying? I know if she was landing on thick for the refs, right? You know what I'm saying? Let me turn it all the way up now, because now we in court, so I can win this court case. I don't know. But let's assume that that is true. And you telling me that a woman like Cardi B, who's like up here in terms of like her social status and her popularity, she felt suicidal because somebody on a YouTube channel was talking about her? I was like, wow. When I heard that, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I feel that way. I don't know if I would feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, really? You really in your feelings about it that much, Cardi? But she testified in court and said that because of some of the things that Tasha K was saying about her, that she felt suicidal, she was depressed, she couldn't sleep. All this is on social media. Now we're talking about a big time star. Lots of money, lots of fame, making records. You know what I'm saying? Outside looking in, dreams come true, right? And she was so in her feelings about what a blogger, a gossip blogger, was posting that she felt, I'll say it again, suicidal. Now, what was she saying about her? Well, apparently Tasha K, among other things, was saying that Cardi B was a prostitute who dabbled in drugs, that she had contacted an STI, sexually transmitted infection, not disease. Um, she testified that she was having sex with herself with beer bottles on stage as a stripper and all this kind of stuff. Now everybody knows Cardi B used to be a stripper, and everybody knows strippers do all kind of stuff for that money. I don't have a problem with it, but it benefited Tasha K to make up these kinds of stories about her because she was getting clicks, she was getting plays. You know what I'm saying? The crowd wanted the sizzle. She was giving them the sizzle. And now she's got to pay out 1.25 million in general damages and 250,000 for medical expenses. So I guess that Cardi B was going to see a therapist about this shit. Like, wow, really? Oh man, that's deep. Now I guess Tasha K got it like that because she said this is all part of business. This happens to everybody. But does it really happen to everybody? Like, yo, when you in this kind of business, you got to make a decision about what path you're gonna go. I'm not mad with Tasha K. It seems like it worked for her, but damn, this goes back to what I said about God's little selfish creatures. That's where we are. Like the vast majority of human beings only really care about themselves. The vast majority of human beings only really care about themselves. So look at Tasha K. If she had to make up some lies about Cardi B in order to get 500,000 plays or a million plays or to build up her YouTube channel, well, then so be it. It was worth it to her. If she had to sacrifice the public image of somebody else so she could build up her own public image, well, then so be it. So be it. It was worth it to her. Yeah. And I didn't really follow Tasha K like that. So I'm aware of her, but I never really followed her. Like every time she posted a video, I wasn't there to watch it or anything like that. But I was aware of the sister and what she was doing, props to her until she started doing that line shit. But that's where we are now. That's where we are now. And the judge said that any potential punitive damages, there could be more money basically that Tasha K may have to pay out of pocket if there's any future punitive damages. Like let's say Cardi B has to continue to see a therapist. And she ain't gonna see no just like run-of-the-mill therapist. She got to see a celebrity therapist. That means celebrity therapist fee. So if you out here in that blogging world and you decide you want to go the gossip route, word to the wise. But it just goes back to what I said about mental health and social media, man. It's sharks in the water out there. You got to be strong. My daughter right now is lightweight mad at me because I won't let her get on Instagram. And the reason why I don't let her get on Instagram is because she don't need to be on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? We didn't raise you to get an Instagram account and get caught up with Instagram. Worry about them books. Worry about, 11th grade. Worry about getting to the 12th grade and graduating. Worry about them damn SATs. And then when you get grown, if you want to get on Instagram and complicate things, go right ahead. I mean, I'm on Instagram, obviously, but this is what I do. If I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't be on Instagram. I said all the time. I said all the time to the wifey, if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't be on damn social media. I don't think, not like in any kind of heavy way. For what? For what? You go on Instagram right now and just like do a search, man. What is it? In the morning, oh, you're going to get all the workout videos. Everybody's got perfect deltoids. Everybody got perfect biceps. You be looking at some of these dudes like, how the hell he developed them quadriceps like that? That is inhuman. How the fuck did he develop what the hell is he doing? Everybody's working out. It looks so easy. Everybody's got a Maserati and a big ass house and a perfect job. Everybody's clocking G's and stacking big old piles of money. Everybody's body is perfect. Everybody's got the discipline to eat perfect vegan lives. When they vegan recipes look perfect. I try that shit, man. This don't taste right. It's like, I gotta do over. Let me do this over again. The vegan plant-based recipes look so good. Everything's perfect. Everything's perfect. And then I can imagine people looking at their own lives or looking at their own self in the mirror and be like, what am I doing wrong? I'm not measuring up, right? Shit crazy, man. It's a little dark. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can do something about that. It's a little dark for me. You know, some dark meat. You know what I'm saying? But that's a little dark. Booyah. There you can see me a little bit better there. Think so. If not, then that's what it is. Good morning to you. Ronald writes, it's all fake. Is it all fake? Yeah, my daughter wants to be. I just feel like it's bad for her because she's going to start looking at this and comparing herself to these young girls and these other young women with these perfect proportions and perfect skin tone. The edges lay so perfectly. Like, how'd she do her edges like that? What's the name of that product? Right? Everybody's got a successful Black-owned business that's thriving, right? You got to be tough, man. And we ain't even talking about the trolls. People can be so unkind. People are vicious on social media. And if you don't have a strong constitution, like you know who you are in the face of whatever somebody's got to say, that should have break you straight down. That should have break you straight down. And then for Black men in particular, we have to be warriors, right? We have to always show strength, never show weakness. You show any kind of weakness or vulnerability, you're less than a man, right? You know, we less than a man. Then, you know, a lot of Black folks don't value the psychiatric industry. We'll put it that way. They don't see the value in that. Point frankly, I think every last one of us could benefit from talking with somebody, a therapist, whether you have perceived issues or not, because you got them. You just suppressing them. That's what we do. We suppress until we explode. That's what we do. And perhaps that's what happened with Regina King's son. That shit is so sad. But unfortunately, within my circle, I've heard too much of that, man. And Black folks too, you know, committing suicide, and you just have no idea. So what's the moral of all this study? That means check on your friends. Check on your friends this morning. You know, they might be posting everything's perfect because people do that a lot. You know, people project and they also like to post their best face forward. Like, it's really rare when people post shit that goes bad unless they on that sympathy, you know, tour, right? And even that in and of itself is telling you something, man. But you might want to check on your brother today. Check on your brother, check on your sister, make sure they all right. Make sure they're doing well. No matter what they post, and they might be posting smiles, but inside they don't really want to smile. It's the truth. Lynn writes, good morning, great people. Good morning to you, Lynn. Good to see you. Cleopatra Jones writes, Cardi B put out sexual hyper video. She should not have won anything from that blogger. What? Cleopatra Jones, I have to disagree with you completely. Despite the hypersexual videos, number one, we live in a hypersexual society. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, meaning youth culture. Music, youth culture. Sex, drugs, culture, right? Music. That's what makes the world goes round. So Cardi B ain't doing nothing. You know, young women or women been selling sexuality and navigating their way through the world of entertainment since the beginning of time. And it ain't new to this generation. Please, let's not have a generation debate about it. It is not new. I don't have a problem with Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B making millions of dollars from twerking. I ain't got no problem with it. You know what I'm saying? That's the culture we live in. You know what I'm saying? That's what we value. So yeah, she put out some raunchy videos where she was arching that back, showing them thighs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember WAP, wet ass Ulsi. I remember all of that. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that somebody can just make up lies about you to grow their brand at your expense. That's two completely different things there. Don't you think so, Cleopatra? So because she made WAP, then it's okay for a blogger to just make up lies about her and then The blogger, Tasha K's got a big platform. I don't know. I have to go check it out, but she got a lot, hundreds of thousands, not millions of followers on YouTube and some total on all her social media. She probably over 1 million. That's a big ass megaphone to be telling lies. That ain't no small thing. That's a really, really big ass megaphone, right? And I agree with the judge. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was true, then you're just reporting, but you're just making up shit that you know is not true. But it goes back to what I said. Like I said, God's selfish little creatures. Man, these bloggers don't give a damn. They're in it to make money, most of them. They ain't the truth. That's an inconvenience. No. We ain't gonna talk about no truth. TNT writes, trolls get destroyed. Do they? Maurice writes, glorious resurrection. Tiffany writes, good morning. Hey, Don, good morning to you. She writes, good morning, Nana Choppers. Don Marie Hudson. Ashley's in the house. What's up, Ashley? Shout out to baby Chopper. Oh, my God. She is so beautiful. I love those pictures. Good morning, Nana Choppers. Good morning to you as well. Looking good, everybody. Marsha, good to see you. Marisha writes, good morning. Pat writes, good morning. Kelly writes, good morning. Tracy writes, hey. Kush writes, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, Nate and the Mighty Choppers. Sarah writes, intriguing subject matter, how often ignored, but definitely needed in our community. Oh, absolutely. That mental health thing is, in particular with Black folks, man, you know, and I ain't trying to, I'm going to take it here because it needs to be said, but one of the most unreported and overlooked and ignored aspects of Black people's collective mental health is how being Black impacts your mental health. Like living in a world of Karens and Darrens, right? Just being who you are and having to deal with the reactions of it. That shit, that right there has been, they love to diagnose the Black family in terms of why our kids become violent. They love that shit. The media, the establishment, the status quo, they love to do that. But in terms of diagnosing the ramifications of all the shit that we've had to deal with and continue to deal with, the omnipresent fear. So for instance, you'll check it. I was watching an interview this morning of a Black woman that lives in Chicago. And she just got a $2.9 million settlement from the city of Chicago. Why? Well, her name is Anjanette Young. Does that ring a bell? Remember, we talked about this, spent a lot of time talking about this back in 2019. Her home was raided. And when the police raided her home, they just kind of caught her at a bad time. She had just got home and she was changing her clothes. She was butt stark naked. 12 armed Chicago police officers, all male, bust down her door. They had a tip that there was some guns or something there that they got from an informant. But these Gilligans went to the wrong home. The right home was right next door. And the person that they were looking for had a low jack. He was on surveillance. Now, how did these Gilligans get it wrong? They burst into her home. She's standing there naked for minutes upon minutes upon minutes. And in the video, you can hear in her voice, she's like pleading with them. I live alone. You got the wrong home and all this kind of stuff. Standing there with a curtain over her or a cover or something like that, with her hands behind, or with her hands handcuffed, right? And apparently they was in her home for about 40 minutes before they realized, like, oh shit, you know, we was wrong. And she did an interview recently on CBS This Morning. She sat down with everybody's favorite. Yeah. Snoop Dogg was wrong to call that woman a B over some damn Kobe Bryant. Anyway, she got a $2.9 million settlement. But she talked about how she feels like she's living with PTSD now. And that if the officers had been fired and been disciplined, she would have took that over $2.9 million. Got me to thinking like, oh no, 2.9 after taxes, that's 1.5. I think I might take the 1.5. But my point is now this woman is traumatized, right? Because Chicago's been turned into a war zone. Them looking for guns that could have been used, you know, against police officers was way more important than the dignity of this Black woman. This goes to show what I said. See, we're dealing with that. We also dealing with this COVID shit. And that's a double whammy, right? Affecting our mental health. Because on one hand, you got this ever-present fear that you're gonna get sick and that you're gonna die and that you might lose time from work, or you might infect somebody else, or you might be infected by somebody else, right? So you got the isolation thing going on because a lot of people are still kind of isolating themselves a little bit. Like, how many people are still washing down every item that comes into your house? Are we still doing that? I must admit, I'm not doing it the way I used to. I must admit, I'm a little lax in that. You know what I'm saying? And on top of all that other shit, man, this shit is so real out here. This shit is so real. So real. And without any help, what are you supposed to do? How you supposed to navigate this shit? I'm gonna tell you one of the things that's like so undiagnosed. It's the D word, depression. There's so many people out here dealing with depression. They functionally are depressed. They are dealing with depression every single day. And these are people who, on the outside looking in, appear to be living their best life. They got all the building blocks of a good life dealing with depression. That depressing shit is so undiagnosed. That shit is so undiagnosed. It's just because, you know, people themselves don't even realize it sometimes until you like circling the drain. You like have to catch yourself. But it's so undiagnosed. And primarily with men, like, who do you turn to? Like, where can you go and say, I'm having some problems without feeling like you're going to be ridiculed? It's real deep. Irish writes, good morning, great people. Good morning to you. Adele writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Eloise writes, good morning, happy Tuesday. Gladys writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Beautiful Tuesday to all. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Graston writes, good morning. Hashtag alt, never mind. See, y'all, you and Fame need to patch it up, man. Y'all let that woman come between y'all. Y'all need to just go ahead and patch it up. Maybe y'all don't be the alt mill anymore, but y'all can still patch up y'all relationship, man. Oh my God, just a mess. You know what I'm saying? Black man, see, you know, one of the things that I liked about the alt middle was black men working together. And then y'all mofos messed that up over some dumb shit. Oh my God. But things happen. The future is bright. Nat writes, good Tuesday. Nate and the Choppers, good morning to you. Brian writes, morning, GSW. Who day? All right. Deborah writes, good morning, everyone. Nikki writes, good morning. Professional Reimbursement Network writes, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Shit's real, man. I'm telling you, that mental health shit is real. And we ain't even talking about no midlife crisis. We ain't even talking about midlife crisis when you get, what's middle age these days, like 40? It's something about, and I've noticed that with like friends around me, age don't really mean shit to me. I never really, I joke with my daughter sometime about my age over the years, but in fact, I don't care. I don't give a damn about being older at all. When I get 80, I'm gonna be 80. I'm gonna be super fly and fit at 80. I've never been one to get caught up with age like that. But I have noticed people around me, when they hit that 4-0, like shit start getting real to them. Right? And they start getting their feelings about it. And I can kind of understand it, but at the same time, I don't, because it's just, you were young, then you were middle age, then you was older, and then you was real old. That's just a circle of life. I want to enjoy all of it. So I never really got hit with that. I don't feel that now. I don't feel shit. But I'm trying to understand like other people. So you got all this shit that people are dealing with. And then on top of that, on top of COVID, on top of the pressures of keeping up with the Joneses on social media, the pressures of being melanated, and all of the microaggressions that you got to deal with. The microaggressions, that shit builds up. That's why some black folks, when they get older, they get angry as fuck because they tired of dealing with it. But on top of all of everything else you got to deal with, the fucking polar ice caps are melting. We got an inch of topsoil left. All this stuff going on. And too many people got to overcome their childhood. On top of all of that shit. You still got to struggle to deal with the shit that happened to you when you was a kid. Yeah, mom was good, but she was young. Yeah, dad was cool, but he was young. And they didn't know how to be good parents. And they did some traumatic shit to you when you was younger. And you're 55, but inside around them, you're 15 or you're 7, right? You got to deal with all this shit. This shit is so heavy, man. Shit is so heavy out here. That's why people be just doing all the stuff you see in the news. And does money matter? It appears that it doesn't. It appears that it doesn't. That's why I keep my head on. I know what's important. I keep my head on straight. I know what's important. Have always known what's important. That kind of keeps me on the right path. But people get caught up. They get caught up so quick. Like I said, you got to overcome you. When you become an adult, some adults, not every adult, you realize you had an effed up childhood. Some traumatic ish happened to you from your mama or your father or your auntie or somebody else did some dumbish to you. You was potty trained with a hand grenade or some other crap you got to get over. How you supposed to process this as an adult? How you supposed to deal with all this kind of ish? Shit is tough, man. It's real, real tough. And then you got people just dealing with just other things, right? That just mental illness because of their genetic makeup or it's just them. Shit is so real. Nikki writes, good morning. I think I read that. Crystal Wheelwright writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Oh, flowers. I love it. Sister Iris writes, Reverend Lynch did a mental health sermon discussion this past Sunday. Really insightful. Something we need to talk about more. See, great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. Absolutely. It is real out here. I'm telling you, it's so real. To the brothers out here, to black men, don't be afraid to get yourself a therapist. Don't be afraid to talk with somebody, especially if you working and you got insurance. That's what you got insurance for. Go ahead and use it. Don't be afraid to confide in somebody close to you that you might be struggling with some issues. You might be midlife crisis issues or whatever it might be and shit. I think there's a value in just letting some of that go. Don't be afraid to examine your childhood, things that happen to you, the experience that you have that shape you as an adult. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that. Embrace it. Embrace it. Deal with it. Go through it. It's going to be tough, but you can do it. And if nobody in the world understands you, I understand you. Always. You can always get a word, some good words from me. Always, 100%. Because it's so real out here. And we so worried about building up our wealth and building up our bodies that sometimes we forget the mental. We forget about our mental health. So as we get closer, I'm going to invite Ashley Glass back on so she can talk about the documentary and talk about, her purposes and some of the folks involved with it and how you can view it. This is like a local effort. So there'll be a lot of local Black Cincinnati people in there. And hopefully it'll be really interesting and maybe open some eyes and shed a light on a topic that it's not a sexy topic. Like what I'm talking about right now ain't fucking sexy. This ain't like talking about Cardi B, with an STI. I get it. It's not like, the latest police shooting. I get it. But, I just feel like there's a connection with all this stuff. That's like the brother Ron Hummons, really talking about, trauma and how that relates to what we've seen. I think it's just completely undiagnosed. This is so much stuff that goes undiagnosed. I think trauma, a lot of us have dealt with trauma and we just don't want to deal with it again. And so we bury that shit and we think that it doesn't manifest in our relationships, but it always does. It's impossible. It's going to. And then depression. I think depression is way more prevalent than is reported. Way more prevalent. Like I'm not gonna say no names, but I've seen some people close to me just acting different. And I'm like, what the hell is going on with such and such? And as time goes on, I get a chance to observe more. I'm like, aha, they must be dealing with some depression. And that shit will manifest itself in a lot of different ways, a lot of different really destructive, self-destructive ways that that from the outside looking in, like friends and family members may look at it differently. Oh, such and such just got a problem. Oh, they tripping because they lost that boyfriend or that girlfriend or whatever. But it's really something that's a lot more serious. And people themselves, you might be circling the drain of depression and don't even know it. You don't know. How you supposed to know this? You ain't go to school for this. You too caught up with your daily life to really understand it. We don't take enough vacation as Americans. They got the bosses overworking the hell out of us. It's overworking the hell out of people. That's why a lot of people decide I ain't going back. Screw this job. My mental health is worth more than that. And I think in Kentucky now they're going to allow excused absences from school for public schools for mental health days. We need more mental health days. You know what I'm saying? You working hard, dealing with the job every single day, 5-day work week. Oh my God. That shit will kill ya. It'll kill you inside. Inside, you're just dying a little bit every single day, right? Just every day, just dying. Sitting in the parking lot, wishing you don't have to go in here and deal with this nonsense on your JOB. I mean, I've been there. I get it. I've been there. Let me see. Let me write good morning. Betting Public Sports Show writes, there are folks with mental issues crying over their significant other and find themselves in a crazy house. Sometimes you cannot help everyone who needs saving. So to keep your savory, I'm not sure what you're saying there. The Alphabet Gang, aka the IRS, is about to be on Tasha K's arse. There was an agent sitting in the courtroom listening to the trial. Oh, they're going for, but you know what? She did it to herself. I'm on her Instagram. She wrote, I forgot to thank all of the viewers for all of your support. Why would I support you when you telling lies about somebody for clicks, for plays? You don't get no support from me. Okay. I mean, listen, she obviously built up her brand and made it significant and made a name for herself. Obviously, she did all of that stuff, right? Great. And I give her props for that. But you're doing that at the expense of somebody else's public image just because it suits you. I got no respect for that. Can't respect that. Regina writes, good morning, everyone. Tanika writes, good morning, Nana Choppers. Let me see. She said Cardi was a sex worker while dancing and had contracted several STIs and cheated on Offset. I mean, maybe she did, but it appears that they were lies, and that's why she lost the defamation lawsuit. There's got to be a line in the sand. You just can't say anything about anybody just to get plays on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Charles writes, suicidal. LOL, Cardi poured the gravy on thick. She might have, but that's how the game goes. What's up, Jimmy? What up, Jimmy? Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Tracy writes, we don't know what else Cardi was going through. Now compound that what everybody else is saying to you because of Tasha. That's too much. Exactly. Cardi apparently has some issues and insecurities. Just look at the mentality that some have who get all that body work they get. Okay. All that, true. Cardi case has put all bloggers on notice. The word allegedly won't save you anymore. Was she saying allegedly? Again, I didn't watch enough of the shows to really pick up on it. Just like the blogger putting out the details of Regina King's son. I don't have respect for people making money at the expense of other people's lives, but disrespecting their privacy. I would look at that differently, Daryl. That might be unsavory, but I would look at that differently because that's news. That's just like when people started reporting on the details of what happened with Kobe Bryant and his son. Very unfortunate. But when you somebody like Kobe Bryant and that happens, and somebody's going to be the first media outlet to report on the grisly details. I think there's a line in the sand, like posting images if you got them. That might be too far. But just writing an article or a post and you're talking about the factual details, some people might think that's grimy. To me, I think that's fair game as long as it's true. Now, if you're reporting that Kobe was doing something, they was all smoking cocaine or something like that, and you're just making up lies, now you're going too far with it. But if it's just the factual details, the timing of it might be inconvenient. It may seem grimy and slimy, but somebody's going to be the first news agency to report it. You know what I'm saying? I look at that differently. Lisa writes, I'm aware of Tasha K, but I can't watch her. She's always yelling too loud for me. Really? Is she? Again, I haven't watched enough to really give a strong opinion about it. I do know that there's a lot of people that look at her and like, oh, I like what she's doing, but I can't give a strong opinion. I haven't watched enough of her shows. I've seen her intro a couple times, and that's it. Jenny writes, is Tasha K another rapper? No, Tasha K is a famous gossip blogger, YouTuber. Matter of fact, let me go to her YouTube channel right now and see how many subscribers she got. I think she's up there. Definitely up there. And she's got 1 million subscribers with 918 videos. Right. And she's found a lane for herself. So I can't be mad at her. I'm not mad at her at all. And just like we got the choppers, she calls her audience the winos because she drinks wine. Okay. Let me see here. Looking at her views, it don't look like this whole thing. See, this whole thing ain't gonna do nothing but put her further on the map. That's it. I suspect from what I see that even losing this lawsuit is gonna help her because her name is out there. You ever heard any press is good press, even bad press? That's a great example of it. Ronald writes, it's all fake. Glenn writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Flo's ready to eat for everybody. Anthony writes, I have a dad bod and proud of it. Yeah, the thing is, you get older, you just get to the point where I am what I am. I have what I have. It is what it is. And I loves it. And if somebody else don't like it, then so damn be it. You just get to that point. Cleopatra writes, Cardi B put out, okay, I read that already, Cleopatra, and I still disagree with you. Eric writes, I'm glad she won a lawsuit. Social media has allowed people to run their mouth without consequences for far too long. There is a limit to freedom of speech. There's a limit to freedom. Yeah, I mean, there's a limit when you're defaming somebody or you're yelling fire in a crowded movie theater that's going to induce a panic and get some people killed. You're right. Other than that, it's all fair game. It's all fair game. Lemmy writes, tears of a clown, check on family and friends, tell them you love and care. Absolutely. Eb G's in the house. She writes, yes, check on those that you think are strong. Please, the pandemic has not been easy for many. Don't assume everyone is doing well. Correct Amundo, Eb G. I could not agree more, 100%. I'm telling you, especially check on your peoples, man. Check on your peoples, because it's just think about it. I just laid it out for you, everything that's going on. We've been in this pandemic since 2019. No, since 2020. Since the first quarter of 2020. And here we are, the first quarter of 2022. We've been dealing with this shit for 2 years. For 2 years. And the effects, I think, are being well understated. Well understated. The isolation, the omnipresent fear of being infected, getting sick and then thinking you might get sick again. Do I take the vaccine? Do I not take the vaccine? Do I give my kids the vaccine? Do I take the booster? How many boosters? Like all these choices that going back and forth with the school systems. I mean, this shit will drive anybody crazy. It'll drive anybody crazy. And that's just the external stuff that we're all dealing with that doesn't even speak to the uniqueness of your individual life. Because as individuals, we all got our individual cross to bear, right? It's crazy, man. Check on your peoples. I think it was the paid wear comment that got Tasha. I don't understand. FG writes, normalizing not being good or okay. Cleopatra writes, I'm going to agree to disagree. How you going to agree to disagree with the fact that you can lie on somebody? Huh? Come on, Cleopatra. Rachel writes, good morning, family. It's Taco Tuesday. Jason writes, morning and chops. Morning chop shop. Then he says something about spell check. TNT writes, but I limit my activity on all social media sites. Sometimes I'll go weeks without posting and lose algorithm of followers, but I don't give a damn. I'm okay with hashtag a dozen likes. Darlene writes, hey, what's up, Darlene? Cass is in the house. She writes, hey, hating on she been hating on the Bengals, y'all. The ladies will be back. Melanin Insights will be back this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you check them out. Let me see. Daryl is talking to MG. He writes, yeah, I found out the hard way 3 years ago. A lot of broken hearts and pain behind fake smiles, which is the reason I don't like saying fake it until you make it. John writes, good morning. Living right next to the abuser. Mm-hmm. Maurice writes, I'm glad she won. Lynn wrote something on YouTube. The paid whore comment ultimately took Tasha down. Paid whore? Oh my God, Tasha. Now, how you gonna be a black woman? How's a black woman gonna tear down another black woman just to build up your media following? Come on, man. We can do better than that. Lynn writes, take the money and just get a therapist. Right. That takes us back to the sister from Chicago who her name is Anjanette Young. Matter of fact, let me give you an image of Anjanette Young real quick. This is straight from my friends over at CBS this morning. And I mean, men and women are different. Like, I don't think that if a man was in that situation, I don't think that he would care as much about being naked in front of other people. I think that women are really shy about that. You know what I'm saying? If it was me, I'd play it all the way out. I'd be hysterical. I'm nude. Oh gosh, my body. So I can get that paper afterward with that lawsuit. Maybe. But here's the image of Anjanette Young. And she said that she got a $2.9 million settlement from the city of Chicago because the Chicago police back in 2019. And yo, get this. You got a new black female mayor, and she was a part of the cover-up. They didn't want to release the body cam footage from the officers that showed all of the details of the case. That's what made the case, was the body cam. And the mayor tried to suppress it. First, the mayor lied about it and said, I didn't know anything about this. I wasn't briefed on it. And then when she couldn't lie about it anymore, she came out and said, well, yeah, I was briefed about this last year. What? Just goes to show you, just because you got a black person in charge, don't mean you got a black person in charge. Don't mean they're going to ride and do the right thing by you. It don't mean that. Everybody's different. But she said that she would have preferred the officers being fired than taking the $2.9 million settlement. I'm with Lynn. You better go get you a little therapist. You'll be okay. And I don't know which is worse. You know, women get sensitive about their bodies, and especially if they feel like their body ain't like, you know, two-piece beach wear wetty. You know what I'm saying? But I think the larger issue is you got all these armed police officers breaking in your house. And you powerless. You can't do shit about it. She said in the interview that she was invisible. She said she was talking to them and they just were ignoring her. She was asking for somebody to give her a robe or something to put over her. They just ignored her. And I remember watching the video, and the reason why they ignored her is because she was invisible. They was looking for drugs and guns. They was looking for guns. They was looking to see if somebody was in there that might jump out with a weapon and shoot one of them or injure or harm one of them. They didn't care about her. They didn't care about her. Some people have suggested that this is just the unpleasant, and nobody wants it, but these are some of the unintended consequences of law enforcement. Like, sometimes they're going to make mistakes, and you just got to roll with the punches because they do a greater good. Do you buy that? And I don't know, man. If that's me, I want people to go to jail and be fired and all that kind of stuff. But you coming through a 1.5? That goes a long way to drive them tears. Long way. I'm just saying, not in any way to minimize that woman's pain because she was hysterical in the video. Why? This is a mistake. I live alone. You know, you could hear the distress in her voice. It was very hard to listen to actually and watch. I won't play it now. Copyright issues. Facebook is tripping with their hypocritical asses. F you, Facebook. Angela writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. Prostitutes' comments are what got Tasha. I mean, as much as I'm sitting here, Tasha K got a way bigger following than me on YouTube, so she must be doing something right. So how much can I really criticize her? And she winning. I don't know. Anthony writes, damn, Nate, 40? Bro, that would make me a senior citizen. That hurts, bro. Really? Lana writes, a lady lost her kids and went live every day asking for help. And ladies made it a joke. Mental health issues really need to be addressed. Really? That really happened? Social media is not the right place to get sympathy. that ain't the right place for it. I see it all the time. It depends. It's hit or miss. Dee writes, hey, y'all. Crystal writes, I love being over 50. No more trying to keep up. I'm chilling, living a peaceful, chill life. Adele writes, Nate, you making a case for us to be more serious about seeking professional mental therapy. Absolutely. I mean, and just talk about life. You might not even think you got any real issues going on, but just talking about life. Like if you got a family and children, you need to have a freaking therapist. Because just dealing with that alone can drive you nuts. Mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy, mommy, can I have, mommy, can I have this, can I have that? I want this, daddy, daddy, mommy, daddy, that shit will drive you nuts. Nuts. I got to catch myself, man, listen, I got to catch myself sometime with my son. My daughter, she doesn't even want to be around me no more. I go in her room. She's like, can you leave? I'm like, can I leave, nigga? This is my house. Your room is in my house. Can I leave? Talking all fly. Then she want to go eat some free food, get a free ride. Anyway, man, listen. If there's something my son wants, this boy start plotting. Daddy, 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 daddy. You hear daddy 50 times in an hour, that shit'll drive you crazy. You just lose yourself. You can just lose yourself in all that shit. And sometimes you got to sit down and find your center and figure out who you are and what you're trying to do with your life. I'm telling you, man. Whew. Tanika writes, facts, Nathan. Childhood trauma is real and it's not a joke. But we must find ways to deal with it and get past it in healthy ways. Yeah, for real. Show me a messed up adult, probably started in the childhood. It probably started in the childhood. Tabitha writes, a morning, let's chop it up. Good morning to you. 70, living my life like it's golden, for real. I love it. I'm going to be there one day. I'm going to be super fly at 70. Tabitha writes, good morning, let's chop it up. I think I just read that, but twice was cool. Rachel writes, everyone can do well to talk to a therapist. You don't have to have a trauma to do so. It's a method to maintain balance in this crazy world. Correct, Amundo, 100%. Especially if you're working every day and you got insurance, why don't you use that shit? Go ahead and use it. Go ahead and use it. Make yourself feel better. Brent writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers, checking in from Dallas, Texas. Chris writes, hey, Nate, did you have to go see someone when your girlfriend from college cheated on you with the water boy on a football team? See, look at you. You're going to just jump into my nightmare again. Look at you, Chris. I wish I could block your ass, but I'm not. I can't block you, but I'm not going to do that, Chris. You mofo, you. You bet you think that shit funny, don't you? It wasn't funny in the moment. I was in my feelings. I was in my feelings because I mean, you young and you hurt your ego. He must be better than me and all this kind of shit. But looking back, it was a waste of emotion, quite honestly. Did I go see somebody? I may have. I think I I want to say I did go see somebody. I was so in my feelings. I was so hurt at the time. I think I'm going to go see one of the college therapists. I'm true story with you. I'm being honest with you. I think I did. I just can't remember. I want to say yes, though. I'm 80% sure, but I can't remember what we talked about. You know what I'm saying? Or what was actually said. Let's see. Be clear. Some illnesses are hereditary. Know what your family history, medical, and mental health. Teach your children. Correct. Correct. Lemmy writes winter depression. I never felt the winter depression. I love the cold and snow just like I love the sun. It's all part of it. A bunch of functional, depressive people out here. Yep. I bet you if you lined up 100 people and you had like a test of like depression test, I bet you 70, at least 70 of them are depressed, if not more than that. Telling you, I think it's just like a normal thing. They are talking about mental health on the Ricky Smiley Show. See, great minds think alike. You know what I'm saying? Great minds think alike. Prayers up for Regina King and her son. Tragic, very tragic. How did he kill himself? Was it with a firearm or something like that? I mean, that's some shit. It just makes you wonder, like, damn, like you want to leave this world? Like the pain is so bad. And then a lot of people mask their mental illness by food, alcohol, weed, sex, shit like that. That's one of the big maskers. So you've got one issue, but then you're turning into another issue because you smoke weed all day because you're depressed. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these rappers, they seem like they so cool because they smoking weed, they got a blunt, but they really got to smoke every day just to get through the day because they depressed, they unhappy, they don't like themselves, they don't like their life. And so just to get out of bed every morning and get through their day, they got to smoke a blunt. Like I told you, there's some people that the first thing they do every single morning is they reach for that blunt. They light that blunt every day. That's the first thing they do every single day. And they have to do it or else they're not going to get through the day. It's a shame. Carmelita writes, good morning, Nana Choppers. Brent writes, soft middle talking about other people crying over an ex. Brenda writes, good morning, Nana Choppers. He was not a water boy. He was a starting cornerback. At least he was a starter. So my ex-girlfriend did have some taste, I guess. But, you know, looking back, I mean, it was all stupid. Like, she didn't owe me shit. And I was cheating on her. That's how men are. We so damn hypocritical. I'm cheating on her. It was no way in like I was going to be faithful in college. It was never going to happen. But I told her that because that's how you want it. You want to have your girl that she's faithful to you while you just doing whatever you want to do with all the other women. I ain't no different. That's how I wanted it back in college. That's how I had it. And then life caught up with me. Tabitha writes, all of our kids are traumatized. They are true witnesses of losing their friends at such a young age. Angela writes, she owes Cardi $1.5 million for them lies. Elizabeth writes, depression, worried about the past, and anxiety, worried about the future. I had a horrible case of anxiety. I was worried about something that wasn't anything to worry about. My mental snapped. I lost my appetite, couldn't sleep, blood pressure high. Only medicine and a lot of prayer brought me out of it. Well, I'm glad you're out of it, Elizabeth. And I appreciate you being vulnerable enough to share with us this morning. You know, it's a lot of people that went through the same thing, but they're just not strong enough to share it and say it because, you know, they think it'll make them look bad or they might get trolled or something like that. But you just put it out there. So I appreciate it. I'm trying to think about my own self. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just typically have always been and remain a very, very positive person. You know, I've had my moments over the years when you feel down about this, that, and the other, but I mean, nothing that kept me down, right? Nothing like that. I think just the normal just ups and downs of being alive. That's what I think. Akeem writes, I've been surviving mental health since being ejected from a vehicle at age 5. I was found 50 yards from the accident scene. I grew up on meds and therapy. I hated it. As I became a teenager, I turned to alcoholism to cope. I became destructive to myself. Wow. I became destructive to myself and others. Mental health and stress is real. I continue to survive 12 years. No alcohol helped tremendously. Props to you on that, man, because that alcoholism, that's a killer right there. That's a killer. Man, that's a killer right there. You'll circle the drain so fast and it'll affect your whole, it just makes everything worse. It just makes everything worse. Man, there's one thing that you can do if you don't do anything else is stop the alcohol. That's the one thing. If you don't do nothing else, if you don't have the willpower to do anything else, and that takes a lot of willpower, quite honestly, stop the alcohol. You don't need it. It's fun. You can drink, you can alter your state, but you don't need it. Jerica writes, and good morning, Jerica. People stay in tune with your emotional and mental health. Depression isn't underdiagnosed for lack of knowledge by the clinician. It's due to people not seeking therapy to address life experiences and red flags. All good points. All good points. Anthony writes, how will this translate into the lawsuits against all of Trump's minions? I don't know. I don't know if it'll have any impact whatsoever. John writes, if the word allegedly won't work anymore, Tariq Nasheed is in big trouble. Well, if you speak in facts, you speak in facts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so when you stick to the facts, or you clearly and you let people know I clearly have an opinion, as I do. When I speak facts, I tell you I'm speaking facts. When I have an opinion with no facts, it's just an opinion, I tell you. And in that way, you always cover yourself. But when you come into this game, you got to make a decision about who you want to be and what's it mean to you and how much it means to you and all that kind of stuff. Like, I am not hating on Tasha K. She has built a tremendous following, and the sister deserves props for that. I give her props for that. Her following is way bigger than mine, so I could never criticize her. Only so much. But she made a decision to go to that gossip route, and it works because people love that shit. They love that gossip shit on YouTube. They love it on social media. Reporting about celebrities and getting deep into their business. That's huge. I don't fault it. I don't look down on it at all. But it does come with consequences. Dale writes, remember Naomi Osaka? She was on top of her game, then needed a break. Same thing with Simone Biles, right? And I'm glad that we got to a place where they could say that. Because many years ago, our culture wouldn't accept it and people didn't have that kind of attitude. You know what I'm saying? Americans work hard. You work hard for the bosses. Whatever your industry is, you work hard for them. Americans across the board work really hard. 40-hour, 48-hour work weeks, working on the weekends, taking work home. That shit is a lot. And sure, you're getting a paycheck and benefits, but use them. Use them. You know what I'm saying? When I had a job with benefits, I used all my fucking time. All of it. I never got to the end of the year and had extra time. That's my time. I need to get away from y'all. I just need to stay home and do nothing. We need to normalize not doing anything, right? Just chilling. Just unplug from the matrix, turn on some Netflix, get you a big bag of whatever your comfort food is, and don't do anything. Don't get on social media. Don't answer the phone. You ain't got to answer your phone. Sometimes you have to answer the phone, but you know what I'm trying to say. But who are these people that get to the end of the year and you got 40, 50, you got 2 weeks worth of vacation time? Why aren't you taking it? You earned it. It will make you a more productive and better and more efficient employee when you take that vacation time. Go take your time. If you got a good supervisor, a good leader in your department, they want you to take the time. They want you to get away from here. Go. Because they know you're going to come back refreshed and ready to get back to work, right? You're going to feel more valued, take some time away. Because if not, man, these they will work you to death. Literally. It ain't worth it. Roots Tafari, love that name. Morning, Chopper. Sorry I'm late. What have I missed? We're talking about mental health, social media, how they're interrelated. using some high profile, cases as a jump off, but also talking about our own life. Adele writes, the lady putting out Regina King's business was before the family made a statement. That's disrespectful. I would have to see what she put out there, but if she just put out the details that she got from some kind of reporting, I don't have a problem with it. If I was the Regina King family, I'd have a problem with it, right? But I'm not. Um, that's the media these days. Everybody wants to get first. They want to get that scoop. Elizabeth writes, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Elizabeth. Politically Petty Podcast Show writes, dad bods rule. Really? Okay. There's a lot of women that love a dad bod. Shannon writes, good morning. Good to see you, Shannon. Okay, I see you, sis, with the avatar. I see you. Tasha K has a Patreon page as well. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure she got a lot of supporters. Maurice writes, I wonder what people would do if there was no social media. I mean, what did we do? I mean, we were still productive, probably a little bit less connected and less gossipy. Hell, take it back to what did we do before the internet? You know what I'm saying? Like inside of these businesses, how they communicate, like everything was face to face. The internet has made us far more efficient. I love it. I wouldn't change anything about the world we live in. I love the internet, the trolls. You got to take the good with the bad. For me, I love the internet. I love the fact that we can do a show like this and, that you can communicate with people and build platforms and share information from people all over the world. I mean, through social media, I've met people all over the world, digitally met them. But I love it. Angela writes, we all need Prozac because of this pandemic, LOL. I don't want no Prozac, man. I'm just on that clean living. You know what I'm saying? It's clean living. That's the other thing. It's the fucking food. Food is driving us crazy. Brent writes, get the help you need. He's got Dr. Chantel on there. It's been a minute since I've talked to Dr. Chantel. She was on Sister Speak with Jerry Tolliver. I haven't talked with Jerry either. Last time I conversed with her via text was like a year ago. I got to check in on sis. Elaine writes, good morning. How many choppers play Wordy? I don't even know what that Wordle. I'm addicted. I don't know. Cleopatra Jones writes, I'm going to have to disagree. I'm standing my ground. You don't have no ground to stand on, Cleopatra. You dead wrong. Tasha K was dead wrong to lie about Cardi B. There's rules to this. I don't care if Cardi B was doing pornography. That's her business. Like, I really mean that. I don't look down on a woman because you're a stripper. I don't care. I could date a woman, like if I'm not single, but if I met a woman and she was a stripper, I wouldn't care. That's how you making your money. It's all about how you conduct your business and how you handle it, right? If you conducting your business in a business-like manner and that's just your business and you got your head on straight and you stacking your chips and it's a means to an end, that's your hustle. I wouldn't look down on you or look any differently at a woman because of her choice of business like that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? God bless you with that body. We live in a society, a male-dominated, purient sexual society. You're going to get that cash. As long as you got your head on straight, you know who you are. You know why you doing it. You're not disrespecting yourself, because I don't think that stripping in and of itself is disrespectful because you're doing it. It's just dancing. I ain't had no problem with it. And because she used to be a stripper, and yeah, some strippers go to the extra mile, you know what I'm saying, for whatever, that's her business. That's her business. She did not deserve to be defamed like that. Let me see. Maurice writes, has anybody heard about the National Guard being in a couple of hospitals here in the city? Yeah, they're supposed to be helping out with the vaccines. I did read about that. I believe that seems to be jogging a memory, but I don't have any details. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go to no hospitals right now. I don't want to see no hospitals. And that's just how I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't, nah. But maybe somebody can speak to that. Let me talk a little bit of city news here, just a little bit, because we got to talk about what's local. And this is a big decision in front of the city of Cincinnati's new council. You got 8 Democrats, 1 Republican, Avtab Pureval. A lot of people think very favorable about the future with the new supermajority of the Democrats. I did read a few weeks back, didn't talk about it, but I know that our friend Jason Williams, he wrote a piece in which he was criticizing the new council, saying that, basically they're going to have to learn on the job, and they're asking a lot of questions and things like that. And I'll say it again. You got a lot of neophytes out there. You got people, first time, elected officials. And I think that we should give them some grace and some latitude to make mistakes. They might ask a few more questions that we ordinarily heard members of councils ask. That's all par for the course. I expect that. But check this out. Everybody hip to that Macy's building downtown, Macy's headquarters? Well, some developers want to turn it into a residential. They want to develop it for residential. Okay. And tomorrow, City Council is set to debate and possibly approve this. They're looking for a 25-year property tax exemption on a 300-plus unit residential development downtown. The housing will be on several floors of the former Macy's headquarters building on West 7th Street. City officials say the development will not happen without the incentives. Here we go again. The project will include 53 studio apartments, 219 one-bedroom units, and 66 two-bedroom units, with rents priced at 80 to 120% of the area median income. So what does that mean? Studio's going to go for $1,350 a month. The one bedroom is going to go for $1,550 a month, and the 2-bedroom is going to go for $2,150 a month. The agreement doesn't include any capital dollars from the city. It exempts the property tax on improvements to the building for 30 years in exchange for 30 years of payments to the public schools and the streetcar fund. The Budget and Finance Committee voted unanimously on Monday to approve the deal, with all council members praising the agreement. So here we go again. The development agreement is a TIF exempt tax increment financing exemption for 30 years, but the developers will pay the full property tax amount for the final 5 years, so it's 25 years. And there was a lot of talk about TIF and development and what we need to change and how we need to do better and how we need affordable housing. So now we're going to see tomorrow how this new city council is going to vote, at least on this deal. Part of the logic in favor of it is that, hell, it's just empty. It's just sitting down there empty right now. So if they're going to add 480 people who are going to be living and working and paying taxes and doing all the things downtown, right, that'll support small businesses and restaurants and other organizations in the area, then it's a good deal. But I throw it out there because now the rubber meets the road with the new city council, and we'll see what they do. Barbara writes, speak on it. No need for us tearing each other up. Oh, it's just so much easier to tear somebody down than to lift them up. Let me see. Rachel writes, I wonder why Tasha K hated Cardi B so much to lie. Tasha contradicted herself in previous depositions and in court. I don't think she hated her. I think it was a means to an end. She told a few lies one day and she saw her clicks, her plays go up. She's like, oh, snap. Well, let me try this again. She told a few more lies. Her audience responded. So she gave them what they wanted. All skin folk and kin folk, absolutely. Iris writes, she was standing there for 40 minutes with no cover, no blanket, no coat, just horrible. This is why I fight so hard. Jerica writes, comments minimizing the insecurities of others or criticizing others for their voice emotional challenges hinders people from seeking help. Carmelita writes, she hasn't received any of the money, though, I thought she said. Sister V writes, it's not just a mistake. It's the systematic cover-up and protection of those making the mistake. You talking about the case up in Chicago? Yeah, they try to cover it up. My thing is this. If I'm the mayor of a city, real is real. So if the police do something wrong, they did something wrong, period. If a punishment is necessary, we levy the punishment. We deal with the consequences. We put the reforms in place to make sure it don't happen, and we move on. I ain't covering up shit. I ain't covering up nothing. It don't make the city look bad. It makes those officers, what makes the cities look bad is when something happens with an officer, and instead of you dealing with it decisively, you want to cover it up and act like it didn't happen. That's what makes you look bad. Because people going to do stuff. Things are going to happen. You can have all the training and all the rules in the world, and you still going to have officers that do some dumb shit. It's just going to happen. It's what you do afterward that I think is really how you judge the government or city or the administration or whoever we're talking about. Jasmine writes, we all need space to process freely. Hey, good morning, Jasmine. Absolutely. Nat writes, those damn freeloading children. Angela writes, kids will get on your everlasting damn nerve. They will. They will. Especially if it's something they want. Daddy, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy. I got a thing that I developed a long time ago. Sometimes when my son and my daughter sometimes they get like that. Daddy, mommy, and we just sitting there. And I just say, I hear talking. And that's the code. They're like, oh, we going too far with it. I hear talking, and that's it. And they'll just chill on it. But they're kids. So, what you gonna do? I'll tell you one thing, man. Don't buy my son some ice cream. That boy, oh my God, Daddy, can I have some ice cream? Can I have some ice cream? Daddy, can I have some ice cream? Can I have some ice cream? Daddy, can I have some ice cream? And don't tell him something. You say it, but Dad, you say it, but you say it, but you say it, but Dad, you say it. Can I have some ice cream? Mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy. Can I have some ice cream? But you said, can I have some ice cream? Mommy, daddy, daddy, daddy. My son will wake up at 4:30 in the morning, come in, grab my face, daddy, you awake? Huh? I am now. Kids will drive you nuts, man. Absolutely. Anybody with children needs a therapist. Anybody don't have multiple kids too, oh my God, they will drive you nuts. So what brings you in today? I've got 2 children. And they're driving me crazy. Regina writes, seasonal depression is will. I'll tell you one, I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse, but what I will say is lifestyle change, working out, getting those endorphins and stuff, building up your body, it does help with your mental frame and how you look at things. It most certainly does. Wake and bake. I know that's right. Mika writes, I know a woman who had to smoke before her feet hit the floor every morning. I do too. I'm talking from experience. I know people like that, Micah. Is it Mika or Micah? I'm going to say Micah. I know people like that. I know people like that. Literally roll up the blunt, put it next to them. So when they wake up in the next morning, they don't have to roll it up. They just grab it, light it. First thing they do every single day. And have to smoke all day just to get through the day. That shit is terrible, man. It's just, drug abuse is just terrible. It's just, I feel very, very, I got a lot of empathy for people that are dealing with drug addiction. Some people don't. They'll be like, I don't get off drugs. But then they got a Twinkie addiction. You sit around eating Twinkies all day, eating sugar all day. You ain't no better. You ain't no different. Your drug is sugar. So go sit down. Let me see. Damon Lynch did a sermon Sunday on mental illness. It is worth your time to listen. He even preached about his own struggle. Oh, I'm going to check that out. I appreciate that. That's another one. Oh, I appreciate that. There's a lot of self-medication through drinking, and we most don't want to acknowledge it. You're right. You got a lot of men who smoke and drink. They smoke and drink, and really is self-medication. But it's funny how smoking and drinking is more of a manly thing than admitting that you may be having some mental health issues, or you having a mad mental health, period. Or you're going through a rough spot, emotionally or mentally. I'm just saying, you look at hip hop. Oh, everybody's smoking. Everybody's smoking, doing lean. Why you think they're doing that shit? A lot of them are trying to escape their reality. They're dealing with anxiety. They're afraid. They're dealing with depression. But it's cool when you smoking. It's cool when you drinking. It's cool. That's much more acceptable. That's much more of a manly thing to do, right? But in reality, all you're doing is masking some pain or some insecurity or some midlife issues, or you don't like yourself, or you're unhappy about your future prospects or some other shit. That's really what it is. A 10-year-old boy, a 10-year-old Houston boy killed himself in January after enduring vicious bullying. Kevin Reese Jr. is found by his 13-year-old sister after the two came home from school. Yeah. Yeah. It's it's very, very sad. It's very, very sad. That's why I teach my kids to hit back. We'll just deal with them when you get home. You know what I'm saying? Just do what you got to do. Victoria writes, my daughter is listening to you. Just made her put in vacation time. 25 years old with 6 weeks vacation. My husband and I never take off except for a week or two a year. Take your time. Take your time. For two reasons. Number one, the bosses don't value that. They don't really value that, because when they get ready to get rid of your ass, they're going to get rid of you. Oh, I'm working overtime. I'm here. I'm here every single day. That's that old mentality. That's the old way of thinking. I'm going to be there every single day. I'm going to stay in this one job for the rest of my life and retire. Man, listen. If you got the kind of job that gives you time off, take the time. Take you a Friday and a Monday. That Tuesday, you're going to feel so much better. Take you a week off. You don't have to go anywhere. Just stay home. You take a week off from home, you know what's going to happen? The first 2 or 3 days, you're going to end up doing chores. That's what you're going to end up doing. Catching up on housework and yard work and little things around, little errands and shit you don't have time to do. And then by day 4, let's say you take a week, you take a whole week off. By Wednesday, by Thursday is when you're probably going to settle in. Now you got everything the way you wanted to be. And then by that Thursday, you're probably going to settle in and start to really relax and take your vacation. Take your time. You earned it. And you don't get no brownie points on the job by not taking no time off. And if you got a good supervisor wants you to take your time off. They want you to get away from the job. They want you to take a week, depending on what's going on. If some shit on the job, you got a big time schedule, a deadline, they want you there. But everything else being equal, a good supervisor, a good leader wants you to go home, relax, rest, take a week, take a Friday and Monday. Hell, take a Thursday, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Got a long ass weekend and don't do anything. And you'll come back to the job so refreshed. You feel like you really want to be there. Good morning to you. Barbara writes, the National Guard was here. They are at UC Hospital for sure. I got a pick yesterday. Barbara writes, they were at UC and Christ Hospital. David writes, nothing wrong with seeking clarity. The current city council deserves time to develop. I agree. Shannon writes, who is the housing for? What about incentives for our city? I think I read through what the incentives were. I don't know. Who you think? Who can afford a 2-bedroom downtown for $2,150 a month? Like, who can afford a studio apartment at $1,350 living downtown? Studio apartment. 1 bedroom is $1,550. I know people live by themselves, live downtown. They don't own a car. They Uber, Lyft everywhere, and it's like a car rental service. Like if you want to go out of town or something like that, you can rent a car. You pick up the car, and then you return the car to the same parking space downtown. I know people that live like that, and they love it. And they love it. Maurice writes, for the white folks. Well, it's for the people that can afford it. Chris writes, $21.50 a month and no parking. I don't know about the parking situation. Who is living in these new apartments they are building downtown? I'm gonna say this again, Rachel, and I know this because doing Uber and Lyft in the city, there are people that love Cincinnati. Cincinnati has a lot to offer. I keep saying it. Relatively low cost of living. You can get to any place in the greater Cincinnati area within 25 minutes. In fact, in some places, you can get to the airport and leave this city within 25 minutes. I can get to the airport 25 minutes from me, 20 minutes from me, and I can leave this mofo. Okay. You've got a lot of great parks. You got a thriving and more restaurants and bars. You got thriving arts. Right? You live in a tri-state area, so if you want to travel a little bit, you can travel through Ohio, you can get to Pennsylvania, you can get to Illinois, you can get to Indiana, and you certainly can get to Kentucky within just a few hours. And then you got the distinct neighborhoods in Cincinnati. Every neighborhood's got its own flavor. And then you still got some underdeveloped parts of Cincinnati. So that's who's living in Cincinnati. That's who's living in those apartments. You got college graduates. You got some people that, either newlyweds or they're engaged or living together, no kids. They got a dog or two. And they love the accessibility of living downtown. You can get to Washington Park. You can get to the stadium. Don't think and underestimate for a second that the success of the Cincinnati Bengals is not going to make Cincinnati a more attractive destination. There's people that's looking for that. They want to be a part of that. They love that whole sports culture. So you got the Reds, you got the Bengals, you got FC Cincinnati, you got semi-pro basketball. Hell, one day we'll probably get a professional basketball team, NBA level. So that's who's living in it, Rachel. You know what I'm saying? That's who people that love the arts. You got a thriving arts community. That's who's living in it. And they loving it. I'm telling you, I've talked with multitude of people. They absolutely rave about Cincinnati. There are people who come here just to visit or maybe through college and they come back and they want to live here. And that's who it's for. And they're living their best lives. It passed committee unanimously. Council is with the development. Yep, that's how I read it too. And thank you for your post. Angela's always posting like the stuff from the county and city council in the Friends page. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Super helpful. For those that are into it. Crystal writes, I run a daycare from my home. Kids everywhere. That's great. That's great, man. We need good people to run daycares, like people that really care about the kids and they're going to give quality service to those kids and those family members. That I have nothing but respect for that work. Nothing. I couldn't do it, but I got nothing but respect for the work. Let me see. Brent writes, Nate, ain't nobody lost their job for failing a Twinkie P test. I was just saying. JC writes, I remember when they bought Macy's in and destroyed the Skywalk, which means dozens of small businesses had to go. It was the dumbest move the city ever made after the stadium deal. I don't know if it was the dumbest move, but I agree with you. I thought the Skywalk added a unique flavor to downtown. I thought it would have been cool to expand that. I thought it was a super dope idea. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring it back because that's what we do. We tear shit down. We stop good ideas and because they get politicized. But then years later, a smart developer will come along with a great idea and bring the shit right back. Yeah, I was of the Skywalk era. I used to go down there. There was a video game arcade downtown I used to go to and run shop on Street Fighter. I was the best Street Fighter player in the city of Cincinnati by far. My guile, my Dulcine was unmatched. I used to smash at Jupiter's all day long with I go up there with a couple bucks and be up there all day long just smashing dudes. because nobody could beat me. I had a lot of time, a lot of fun down there. But I'm with you. I love the skywalk. I love the skywalk. And we need something. We need something to to bring that uniqueness to the downtown area. So we'll see. Micah writes, I take all my vacation and the extra week too. I know that's right. Take it all. Take it all. You deserve it. You working for it. Some of the rap of this rap today talks a lot about self-medicating and feelings of suicide and depression. You have to watch what your kids are listening to and what these young rappers be saying. Mhm. There's a rapper right now. I forget the brother's name. His name is Kevin Gates. He's got a video out talking about how a fan on social media stopped him from committing suicide. If you know anything about Kevin Gates' background, man, tough, a lot of trauma in his background in his youth. And here he is now. I would say he's a well-known rap star. Kevin Gates. He may not be like a Yeezy or like an NBA young boy, but he's well known. And he talks openly about how he used drugs to deal with some of the mental health issues he was dealing with. So yeah, yes, it's some rappers out there that talk about it freely, and I'm glad for it. Angela writes, I'm taking Thursday and Friday off, my birthday Thursday. I'm the only employee at my job and told my general manager and manager I won't be there, so figure it out. I put my time in months ago. See you Monday, job, LOL. Well, let me say a happy birthday, even though it's early. I'll say it again on Thursday. And that's right. Take your time. You deserve it. Most of them work at P&G. They walk home. Yep. It's a lot of people that work downtown. Why would we start another living unit project when the Garfield and that other old hotel building are not completed? I can't answer that. Brent writes, until Cincinnati gets an international airport, this is in Ohio, it will always have a small city vibe. Year need to be big. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get an airport here. I mean, we've got an airport. It's a small airport on the east side of town. A lot of people, when they come into CVG, they don't know that they're going into Kentucky, but that's right. You're only about 10, 15 minutes away from Cincinnati. Station break. That's what it was called. Station break. Sorry about that drop. No calls today. I think we're going to roll out of here. I love the Skywalk days. The movie house and Skywalk restaurants were on the Skywalk. Yeah, it was nice. It was cool. Brother Nate, I will put you down on the Street Fighter 2. LOL. My Sagat and Ken are unmatched. Skywalk was the shit. Sagat, huh? Damn, is that right? I don't know, bro. My guy was tough. And my Dalcine was on another level. My Dalcine was on a whole nother level. Trust me when I tell you that. I used to hold court up at Jupiter's for hours with like $2. That's it. Just running the game. Crowd all around you, all the good players from around the city was there. It was me, and there was an Asian dude up there. He was really tough. I used to spank his ass. I got real. Anything that I care about and I go hard in, I get good at. And I got real good at it. Like real good. It was just some fun though. I saw that with Kevin Gates. You saw that? Yeah. I appreciate he talks a lot about that though. If you look at his videos, even go back to his early videos of Vlad TV, he talks about his mental health, and I appreciate that. He talks about how he turned to drugs and was doing these drugs because of mental health and his father and all the crazy shit that happened to him. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Sagat, Bison, Fei Long were my characters. My Fei Long was on another level too. My Fei Long was on a whole nother level. Fei Long, you didn't want to see me. Trust me on that. I love it, man. My peoples. Hey, listen, have an excellent rest of your day. I got to make a move. I got a project in front of me that I've been working on way too long. I'm trying to get this done, and I need the time to work on it today, among other things. Have an excellent rest of your day, family, and I'll be back with you hopefully and better than ever tomorrow morning. We'll chop it up bright and early, 8 a.m. We'll chop it up on people, politics, and pleasure. Remember our motto: winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. I'm Nate Ivey. and I'm out.